Well, hello, beautiful souls. My name is Anna, and today we're going to be talking about inner child work and why it is so important. So, inner child work is crucial for emotional healing, reconnecting with joy, developing self compassion, breaking negative patterns, and enhancing spiritual growth. While it poses challenges such as confronting painful memories and changing ingrained behaviors, the gains include greater emotional stability, creativity, self compassion, healthy coping mechanisms, and spiritual fulfillment. So, if you have experienced any kind of childhood trauma, neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, or anything in between, you are probably very familiar with the term inner child work. So, what's happening to a child during moments of neglect or trauma? Well, a child does not have any other option but to reject their authentic self and to develop false, limiting, negative beliefs about themselves. That's the only option. There is no way a child can survive by choosing their authentic self. And the reason for it is that it is unthinkable for a child to believe that the world around them, the world that's there to nurture them, to support them, to feed them, to contribute to their emotional, spiritual, and physical development, is there hurting them. It's impossible for a child to believe that their carers are abusers. It's impossible for a child to believe that they are bad and that the child is good. So, what the child does in those moments to survive that extremely difficult and toxic environment, what the child does is a child rejects their authentic self, um, or hide their authentic self, and they develop a protective mechanisms that tell them that they are bad, that they are not good, and that there is something fundamentally wrong with them. They're not lovable. And that coping mechanism is extremely common. It always happens with any child who has experienced emotional, spiritual, physical, sexual abuse, or anything in between, anything else. Every child develops certain mechanisms to survive, and those mechanisms are always self-limiting negative beliefs. Now, when child is a child, it works well. Child is protected. It can survive those difficult moments and situations. But however, when we grow up, we have tendency to take those beliefs with us. Now that we are grown up, during due to those limiting beliefs, we will develop reality where we are not safe. And the reason why we are creating reality where we're not safe is to feed back into those beliefs that we have adopted as children. So, for example, if I adopted a negative belief as a child, which I did, that I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, that I'm going to create reality as an adult, I'm going to create reality around me that's going to feed into that belief. So, I'm going to project. Does that make sense? I mean, it was really difficult for me to understand to begin with. So, if my belief is that I'm not lovable, if I have developed belief that I wasn't lovable as a child, then as an adult, I'm going to create my reality that's going to confirm my belief. So let's say if I believe that I'm not worthy of love and I'm not lovable, I'm going to create reality where I'm going to go into relationships, or I'm going to chase people who can't give me love. or I'm going to be in codependent relationships where I'm not going to receive love. And that environment is going to confirm my false belief. And here we go around and around in circles. And that's so important for us to recognize and to realize that we are creating our own reality based on the belief that we have about ourselves. So in this instance, in this video, we are talking about inner child. I come across many people who are actually blaming the inner children for their reality, when in the reality, we as an adult are creating that reality for us based on the belief that the child had to adopt to survive. So it's not fair to blame inner child or to blame ourselves for it. It's this kind of circle. It's like a circle of eight. That's how I would describe it. A circle of eight. It goes down into the childhood belief, and then it goes up into the reality. So the way to change our reality is to change our belief system and to realize that the belief that we have adopted as children is not true. So to change the belief, we need to change the way we think about ourselves. So instead of us thinking, I'm not lovable or worthy, we're going to change our thinking and start thinking that we are lovable and we are worthy. Now, if I was to adopt only thinking to change my belief, it's not going to work. It needs to be thinking in conjunction with actions. So I need to show myself and show my inner child that I'm lovable and that I am worthy. You see what I mean? So I'm going to do things for myself on a daily basis where I'm going to prove to myself that I am worthy of love, that I'm worthy of all the good that life has to offer. So if I need to go, let's say, for a massage, instead of saying, oh no, I need to save money, I'm going to book myself massage because it is for my highest good, for example. I need it to keep my body healthy. I'm going to choice is really important. We all have free will. I'm going to choose to exercise so my body is healthy. I'm going to start choosing what kind of food I eat to show myself that I care about myself and that I love myself. So just talking and thinking how much I love myself, it's not going to work. I need to show myself that I love myself. So when you love yourself, how do you show them that you love them? If you keep saying to a person, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, but you're not showing them that you love them, it's empty words. Same is for us as well. If I keep saying to myself, Anna, I love you, I love you, I love you, but at the same time I'm neglecting myself on a spiritual, physical, emotional, or intellectual level, then I'm showing to myself that if I'm 100% honest, I don't really love myself that much. So to change, firstly, what I would suggest is to start this inner child work and to acknowledge that inner child, and to acknowledge them for their bravery and for their resilience. Because without that choice that they have made, that very difficult, very painful choice that they had to make as children to abandon themselves, their authentic self, so they can survive, so you can be here right now, it's a huge act of self-love, really. If you really kind of look, they sacrifice themselves, their authentic self, so you can live. And that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible, but it's not working anymore because that belief has become toxic. It has grown. Every time we feed into those beliefs that we are not lovable, we are not worthy, etc., etc., belittling, we are feeding into that energy that can become really thick, dense, very sticky, and very fearful. And that energy is part of your ego. So it's part of you. It's not some entity. out there. It's part of you. So the way to look at it is to recognize it for what it is. It has been developed during your childhood. It has become, like really dense and thick and clingy and sticky, and it's telling you things that are not true. That energy is stopping you from growing, it's stopping you from expanding, it's stopping you from developing healthy relationships, and it's stopping you from receiving all the abundance that life has to offer. So the way to deal with it is to recognize it as part of yourself that's begging to be integrated, begging to be seen. So the way for it to be seen is for you to shine a light on it, not to turn your back. You see? So let's say you have a light side of you that you love, and then you have this shadow that you don't want to look at because you don't think it's part of you, but it is part of you. It is you. So you have one and then you have the other. So what happened is, as you can see, in between the two, there is a separation. There is a gap, and every separation causes suffering. Every separation causes suffering. So what the shadow wants, every time the shadow comes to speak to you, what the shadow wants is shadow wants to be looked at by this light, by you, looked at, once the light shines onto this shadow, shadow cannot be shadow anymore. You see what I mean? The shadow can only be if part of you is in darkness. So once you turn your light onto the shadow, there is no shadow, there is integration. Once you integrate, there is no suffering, there is no separation. So, what most people do because of fear, because of pain, it is very painful to look at your shadows, very painful. You turn away from the shadow, you turn your back, turn my hand really. You turn your back to shadow. So shadow is the more your back is turned towards the shadow, the more shadow kind of clings and chase and chase and chase and chase you because it wants to be acknowledged. Your inner child wants to be acknowledged. But once you turn around and look at it with compassion, with love, you are shining light to it, which means the shadow isn't shadow anymore, and you are integrated. You become one. It's like having a room. It's night. The room is in darkness. It's dark. You come to the room and you switch the light, and light comes. There is no darkness anymore. There can't be darkness if there is light. So you shine the light to your shadows, and shadow integrates into the light to become one. It transmutes into one. Now we are humans. So obviously, shadow there'll always be some parts of the shadows. As you go through life, people will trigger you, something will come up, and before you know it, there is a shadow. So it's really, really important to raise your awareness, raise your consciousness, and to see things for what they are. So if you're triggered, it means that some part of you needs to be seen, needs to be enlightened. Once you shine a light on your shadow, once you do your journaling, your inner child work, that shadow turns into light. So why is inner child work so important on spiritual and emotional levels? Well, firstly, inner child work will heal emotional wounds. Once you go deep into yourself, once you start communicating and once you start opening communication via your throat chakra with your inner child who is wounded, who wants to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be seen, they haven't been heard and seen as children, and they're demanding, it's the birthright to be seen as their authentic self. So the challenges are obviously confronting pain. It is painful. A look into your wounds. But healing those wounds, now we're talking about gains, healing those wounds leads to greater emotional stability and resilience, allowing for healthy relationships with yourself first, and then with the people around you. Now the second one is reconnecting with joy. Joy, this joy that's always within you that you have perhaps forgotten, due to your trauma and adverse childhood experiences. So you're going to be reconnecting with this joy, childhood joy, innocence, and creativity. Creativity means that you're going to start connecting with your divine feminine that's been neglected for so many years. And that divine feminine wants to be creative. She wants to be seen. She wants to be expanded. She wants to love you. She wants to love every aspect of yourself, of your body, of your spirit, of your mind, of your soul. You're going to be also developing through inner child work self-compassion for yourself, and that's top tier self-love. Deeping into the pain, diving in with your inner child, and be really brave about it. It will transform your life on so many levels. And during that time, you're gonna develop this deep sense of love, self-compassion, and appreciation for yourself. And that's really beautiful. Your vibrations are gonna go up. People around you who are taking you for granted, who are not good for you, will naturally drop off. You might find yourself in situation temporarily where you're gonna feel like you are alone, and that's good. You are in this transformative phase, and in time you're going to find your tribe who are going to respect you for who you are. So inner child work will lead you to incredible connection with cosmic mama, with the universe, with consciousness, with the divine, however you want to call it. You're going to feel it in your heart consciousness, you know and it's going to bring you like beautiful amount of abundance, love, joy, prosperity, and but mostly love. The love you're going to feel for yourself is going to be incredible, beautiful. Your connection with your inner child is going to be absolutely amazing once you start integrating those shadows into the light. So I wish you all the best during this process, and I'm going to leave it here. Go gently with yourself. Do drop me questions down below. I'll be really keen to know and learn about your journey. And I'll see you next time. Namaste.